Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hello, YouTube. We're going to go ahead and talk about a very important American adventure about to take place in Formula One for the 2026 championship, and that is Cadillac. Cadillac is coming in to Formula One as the first full American factory effort. With an asterisk there, GM and TWG Motorsports, which is headed up by the Andrettis, are finally entering their bid to play in Formula One. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for the sport? What does that mean for America? Number one, let's go ahead and start with the drivers. They have recruited the two most experienced drivers off of the grid that, quite frankly, were available. Number one, Valtteri Bottas from Mercedes PR guy. And then second of all, the fallen angel, the man that I personally really cared for when he joined Red Bull, Sergioperez. Sergioperez, 6 career wins, 3 career poles, second place in the championship, even though that year, I believe it was 2024, when he was second place in the championship, he just bounced around all over the place to get there, and his form completely fell off. Now, I'm sure Cadillac is super excited to have experienced drivers behind the wheel of their car, along with some other acquisitions made in the team that are just showing that they crave experience within the team. Sergioperez, I think, will bounce back from that horrific form that he had with Red Bull as Max Verstappen's teammate in the final seasons that they worked together. The first season that he joined, when Max won the championship, he earned the moniker the Mexican Minister of Defense for his just absolutely insane drive at Abu Dhabi, blocking Perez, allowing Verstappen to gain on him, and able to overtake him later on in the race. Sorry, my hair's all over the place. I'm growing hair, people. So Sergioperez brings a lot of money. He brings a lot to the table in terms of Carlos Slim. Carlos Slim is a Mexican billionaire that owns a telephone company in essentially like the Bell South of Mexico, or the AT&T of Mexico. Sorry, I'm aging myself there. He owns that, and he backs drivers. Checo Perez has been driven and backed by Mr. Carlos Slim since his initial McLaren days, or his initial McLaren season and only McLaren season. Afterwards, he went into Force India, and from Force India to Racing Point, where he finished 4th in the Drivers' Championship with the team, bidding him farewell, and then Christian Horner swooped in like SEAL Team 6, scooped him up, and brought him into Red Bull Racing. So, ladies and gentlemen, Checo Perez has a wonderful track record. He has driven tractors like the Force India cars and the early Racing Point vehicles, to driving an absolute rocket ship, which was the RB cars. Unfortunately, they are geared towards Max Verstappen, but he managed to grab it by the scruff of the neck before they actually took the car away from him and drove it more towards Max. So Checo Perez, very excited to bring him in, very excited to bring him back from the sabbatical that he was taking when he was initially replaced with Liam Lawson, which was just like, I mean, you're replaced. It was tough watching that, because they could have put a top guy like Carlos Sainz in the Red Bull, but obviously Carlos Sainz has a brain and said, no, that's Max's team. We're not going to go ahead and do that. Sergio proclaimed whoever takes that second Red Bull seat is doomed from day one, and he has proven such. So much that there's been basically 2 or 3 driver changes after him: Lawson, Sushi Tsunoda, and then now we have isackhadjar in the car. I really hope it goes well for Hadjar. I would love to see him actually be able to back up Verstappen, but we'll see. The proof will be in the pudding next year. Let's move on to Valtteri Bottas, which is the second driver for Cadillac. I mean, they got some heavy-hitting names in here. They didn't even have to scrape the bottom of the barrel for the rookies in F2 or F3 or DTM or whatever the hell they're picking guys from nowadays. But Valtteri Bottas, another excellent veteran driver that started off his days with Williams, slagging around, swashbuckling Williams, and eventually joining Mercedes to be the number 2 driver behind Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, of course, being the number 1 driver, and Valtteri Bottas taking the role of the perennial second driver. There is no more second driver than him, other than Rubens Barrichello. But I like Rubens more than Valtteri. Very successful. Valtteri Bottas, 20 poles throughout his career. Clearly knows how to drive a car fast on a circuit. However, though, I think the overtaking prowess has to go to Mr. Sergio Checo Perez. Checo Perez is actually a better racing driver, in my opinion, than Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas just qualifies the car up there. He could do it. He had a Mercedes. He had one of those cars that start with a W, German rocket ship. And he was actually able to qualify the car very high in order to protect Lewis, who was always ahead. All right, that was on purpose. After his run of many years at Mercedes, he was eventually replaced by George Russell, Osama bin Russell, as he's been known. From there, Valtteri Bottas went to Alfa Romeo to partner Kimi Räikkönen. We love you, Kimi. I named my dog after Kimi. So, overall, there are 2 very experienced drivers that know how to guide the team into winning form. Now, I've been watching this sport for a very, very long time. It may not look like it, but I'm getting old. So I think I've been watching this sport, about 23 years now. So I always tend to brace for impact when we have a new arrival on the grid. This is the first time that we have 26 cars, okay? Whenever there's a new team, it's always they seem to either land on their feet or flat on their face. GM, the president of GM, Mark Royce, all right, Big Mark, awesome guy. Or is it, whatever, Royce, I forget his name. It might be John or Mark, whatever. Created the ZR1, thank you. They wouldn't back these guys. They wouldn't back Graham Loudon, who is the team principal, unless they were going in there to actually perform. A lot of brand equity for Cadillac is going in here. All right, Cadillac is the premier American manufacturer, okay? It's not Lincoln, it's not Rivian, it's not Tesla. Those are garbage. If you have money in America, you buy a Caddy, okay? So they chose Graham Loudon as the team principal for Cadillac. Who is Graham Loudon? Graham Loudon is a British motoring racing ex-team principal of Marussia, Manor, and I believe one other team as well. He worked for Jaguar and did a stint there as well with Günther Steiner. So the man is very well embedded into the Formula One world. He's been within it since Jaguar, which was Mark Webber's initial team. That must have been 1998. So almost 20 plus years there, just kicking some ass. He's used to running teams that are either in administration, either in the back, or starting from ground zero. So he knows the initial startup of the team. The last team to join the grid was Haas. Haas, yes, I know. And they appointed a team principal that, quite frankly, that we now know was defunct, Günther Steiner. I have a feeling that Mr. Loudon will take the helm initially, will raise the team up, and I'm gonna call it out. He'll probably be there for a year or two before you get a Christian Horner, or before you get some other joker that is way more experienced and more embedded at the higher, at more towards the front of the grid. Cadillac has the money. GM has the money. TWG has the money. The Andrettis are loaded. It may not seem like it, but they are loaded. Now, we've yet to see any livery designs. We've yet to see any actual merch. I'm super excited. I never buy Formula One merch, but I will be biased. I am going to be a biased American for once, and I'm going to sing the praises of Cadillac, and I'm going to pay the $100 for a t-shirt. Okay, I am a GM enthusiast, and my favorite car is the CT5V Blackwing, so we have to support. And I have high hopes for Cadillac this season. I have high hopes for performing. I have high hopes, and I know that they will outperform Alpine. Yeah, they got the drivers. They have a guy that knows how to initially launch the boat into the waters of Formula One, into the battlefield. And all in all, they have a ton of racing prowess with TWG behind them. And GM, they got the dough. So powertrain, who's powering them? Sergioperez initially did a test with an SF23, a blacked out one, which was absolutely flipping gorgeous. Carbon black all over the place in order to come to grips with the Ferrari power unit. Ferrari will be powering the Cadillacs. Yes, they will have the power from Maranello behind the crest of Cadillac. Cadillac will develop their own engine closer to the 2028 season in order to be a fully backed factory team with their own power unit. Forgive me. So lots on the horizon, and it's been so long, and I'm so glad that someone took the plunge. One of the big three of this country, of America, dove in head first and said, we're going in. And also, too, this harkens back to the fight that the Andrettis had with Mohammed bin Sulayem. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we have to thank Mohammed for this, because without him, we'd have an Andretti team, which doesn't carry as much weight as a manufacturer. The little man, the well-coiffed little man rally driver was right. They brought in an American manufacturer. He didn't get along very well with the Andrettis, and he managed to still quell the relationship in order for the two of them to team up, join forces, and enter Formula One. So here we go. 26 drivers on the season in the horizon next year. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to try and make it to a Formula One race. And this is going to be a big year for F1 with new regulations. Everyone's going to be starting from ground zero. Some people will hit the ground running quicker than others. Others will fall on their face, but they will certainly find their feet. And I have no doubt that Cadillac will be one of them. So with that, everybody, I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful day. We're going to start the season soon. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Merry Christmas. And the new year is coming up. Anyway, guys, peace.